Thank you for joining me for story time. Today's word is bird. If you want to hear a story, clap your hands. If you want to hear a story, clap your hands. If you want to hear a story, then your face will surely show it. If you want to hear a story, clap your hands. If you want to hear a story, jump up and down, jump, jump. If you want to hear a story, jump up and down. If you want to hear a story, then your face will surely show it. If you want to hear a story, jump up and down. If you want to hear a story, say bird, bird. If you want to hear a story, say bird, bird. If you want to hear a story, then your face will surely show it. If you want to hear a story, say bird, bird. If you want to hear a story, do all three. Clap, clap, jump, jump, bird. If you want to hear a story, do all three. Clap, clap, jump, jump, bird. If you want to hear a story, then your face will surely show it. If you want to hear a story, do all three. Clap, clap, jump, jump, bird. Oh, very good. I am as tall as a tree. Can you reach way up high? Oh, yes, I can be as wide as a house. Oh, as thin as a pin. A pin is very small. Squeezing. And as small as a mouse. Two little blackbirds sitting on a fence, one named Jack and one named Jill. Fly away, Jack, fly away, Jill. Come again, Jack, come again, Jill. Let's do that again. That was fun. Two little blackbirds sitting on a fence, one named Jack and one named Jill. Fly away, Jack, fly away, Jill. Come again, Jack, come again, Jill. I thought I would tell you the Indigenous Northwest Peoples story about how Raven brings water to the people. Now that the people had fish, they were thirstier than ever. They called Raven to help. People said, "Here is a Raven who sets things right." Raven knew of only one fresh spring in all the world. And a man named Ganook guarded that spring. And he refused to share. So maybe, thought Raven, I could drink enough water and then share it with the people. So Raven went to the house of Ganook and asked to come in. And Ganook was glad of the company. And so Raven sat down and made polite conversation and soon asked for a drink of water. Ganook grudgingly showed him the spring, a crystal pool welling up from the ground, in a basin of rock. Ganook said, "Don't drink it up. That's all I have. You know it's the only fresh water in all of the world." And Raven well knew that, but said, "Only a sip." And drank until he staggered. "Hold on there, Raven. Are you trying to drink all of the fresh water?" cried Ganook. And that was exactly what Raven was doing, but he made light of it. They settled down, and Raven asked Ganook if he would like to hear a story. And of course Ganook said yes. And so Raven started to tell a long, dull story about two brothers who went on a long, dull journey. And as he went along, Raven added a lot of long, dull details about the brothers and their journey, until pretty soon Ganook's eyes started to droop, and Ganook's chin dropped onto his chest, and Raven started talking more softly and softer until Ganook started to snore. Quickly, Raven ran to the spring and began to drink. And Ganook said, Go on, I'm not asleep." And then shook his head and blinked his eyes, to wake himself up. And so Raven went on with some long, boring details about the two brothers on their long, boring journey. And pretty soon, Ganook's eyes would close and his chin would drop and he'd start to snore again. And then Raven would start to move, and Ganook would jerk awake and say, "Go on, what's next?" And Raven slowly replied. So on and on over the hills went the four tall gray brothers. The air was thick around them. Fog was stealing softly over the mountains. Fog before and fog behind. Cloudy, soft fog. And now snore. And Ganook started to snore. Quietly, Raven slipped to the spring and look, and he drank up the water until the pool was dry. But as he lifted his head for the last long gulp, Ganook saw what he was doing. "So, Raven, you think you can lull me to sleep and then steal my water?" shouted Ganook. He lifted his club and started to chase Raven around and around the fire. Raven would run a few steps and flap, and he'd try to get a few inches off the ground. But he was so full of water, he couldn't quite take off. So he'd run a few more steps and flap and try to take off. And finally, he ran a few steps and flapped and flew out of the smoke hole of Ganook's house. And Raven hung there struggling and wobbled heavily across the sky. He was so heavy and flew so crooked and he spurted little streams of water as he was flying and they came out of his bill. So as you know, he's about, yeah. So all of the rivers are as crooked as snakes because that's how Raven was flying. And here and there he scattered drops, and these became narrow creeks and salmon pools. And so Raven, he brought fresh water to the people, but he bore the mark of the smoke hole ever after. He had gone to Ganook as a great, white, snowy creature. But from that day on, Raven was as black as black. The endless sky of the endless night. The end. I like that story. There's so many more. I'll have to research a few more and see if we can share some more of those native Pacific Northwest Indigenous people stories. Those are great stories. They have a wonderful oral history. So, how about this? 1, 2, 3 little chickens, dear little downy things, cuddling away from every danger under their mother's wings. Peep, 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 the baby's sleepy. This is the song she sings. Sleep, sleep, little chicks that sleep in the night. That's funny. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining me for story time. I look forward to seeing you at the library soon. Until then, hands go up and hands go down. I can turn around and round. I can jump upon 2 feet. I can clap and so can you. I can wave, I'll show you how. Story time is done for now. Thank you. See you next time.